Hello, Masarat here. Let's continue our conversation about attachment and how it impacts our relationship. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk about what is happening in the brain when all this interaction is occurring between a child and the primary caregiver. Basically, what's shaping up in our brain when we are little and we are having these interactions with the people around us, and in particular with those that are really close to us and that are taking care of us. There are many connections that are being created in our brain when we are very young. There is a lot of growth that happens between the age of 0 to 3. Now, our brain is constantly changing and constantly growing. However, there are times where it grows more or it is a growth period than other times. And age 0 to 3 is one of those times where a lot of growth is happening. When we are babies, the lower parts of our brain, which is right about here, are more developed than the higher parts of our brain. Now, the lower parts of our brain are more, they are the ones that will give us the messages in regards to our needs and our safety. And then the higher parts of the brain are more thinking parts of our brains. They're the parts of our brain that make us, more human. So the lower parts of the brain are, like I said, those that give us messages about our needs and our safety. And what that means is that what we really want to feel, safe is we want to be fed, we want to be rested, and when those things we want to be held, and when those things happen, we feel loved and we feel safe. So this then results in the messages and the neural pathways. So you can think of the brain having lots and lots of pathways, lots of little roads and highways, little pathways being connected and growing in a normal and healthy trajectory. So we are young, we are getting our needs met, we are feeling the love, we're feeling this positive energy, we're feeling this attunement from our caregiver, which is resulting in our brains getting all the good hormones. Our brain is growing and it's going in a healthy trajectory. Things that need to be moving along are moving along. Things that need to be connecting are connecting. There's something called, horizontal integration. There's vertical integration happening. The different parts of the brains are getting connected with each other so that all the brain parts can easily and quickly communicate with each other. Now we get signals from our lower part of the brain, and we also get signals from our higher brain, and we really ideally want to make sure that all parts of the brains can talk to each other and assess a situation to the best of its ability in the most effective way. And so I just want you to know it's really important that all parts of our brain are communicating in a most efficient and effective way. Now, if we are not feeling safe because our needs are not being met, well, guess what will happen? Our growth is not going to be happening as it should. And of course, this happens, differently for different people. So for example, where somebody has severe abuse, they could have severe disintegration in their brain. And like I said, it's not one or the other. There's lots of factors happening. And the main point I want to make is that when we are not getting an attuned, nurturing, safe environment and those messages are not coming through, then our brain isn't functioning optimally. It's trying to keep us safe. It's trying to figure out what to do, how to keep myself safe, how to keep myself, from dying, right? So the integration, meaning the communication between the different areas of our brain, will get affected. Some parts will not be able to communicate with other parts as effectively, or some for some people, or sometimes there may not be a communication or connection at all, or it may be very, very weak. So why is this important to your relationship? Well, if you have had a less than optimal experience as a child, and again, there's no blame here. There could be war around you. You know, you didn't create the war, your parents didn't create the war, and guess what? War has an effect on all of us. Like it or not, it has an effect on us. So when we have had a less than optimal experience growing up, and your brain didn't have the ideal growth, and the smooth connection is not happening, so that is what is resulting in you feeling unheard, unloved, getting overwhelmed with emotion, exploding with emotion, and more and more. Or, different things will be happening because of this lack of integration, because of this lack of fluidity and rhythm within the brain. So a lack of an attuned caregiver, again, no blame, it can happen sometimes in very, very loving homes too, can result in something called attachment trauma. And we will talk a little bit further about that next time. So I will see you next week with another video and more information as we're continuing that dialogue. As always, let me know, how is it going for you? How is the information helping you? How are you using it? What questions you have? And I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.